Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. Today's 2-minute tip video is all about growing radishes. Radishes can be challenging to grow because sometimes you get too many green leaves and you don't get a nice bulb, a nice red radish. So here's my tips. You don't need a lot of space. This goes down maybe 4 inches. This is just a basic potting mix. I make it myself, peat moss. When I set it up, I loosen up all the soil and I just sprinkle some granular fertilizer, anyone down, the length of the flower box. Mix it through. Plant the seeds. I don't know if that's 1 inch or 2 inch, but you want to, know the size of the radish bulb and just give them enough space so that when the radishes form, they're not bumping into each other. These are beautiful sized radishes. This is the harvest I got out of the 3 flower boxes. Maybe 4 inches, 6 inches deep. If you were planting in a garden, you would just do rows just like this, spacing, that's my hand size. 2 inches in between. This is the only radish that didn't really develop. Just take a look at what came out of the flower boxes. Just a little bit of granular fertilizer, no water soluble fertilizer. And this was a really, really good harvest. And you don't need a lot of space. You can grow radishes and other vegetables in something just like this. Keep them watered, and you'll get a wonderful crop just like that. And I'm just going to keep pulling them out. The whole key is to not overfeed them with nitrogen. Some people get on me and say, well, you can put nitrogen in there. I always do. I'm not saying don't put any fertilizer, just keep the fertilizer really low, or you do end up, in my opinion, with more green leaves. These are short and stocky leaves, but they're just beautiful radish bulbs. The other thing with radishes is you want to plant them in succession. So you could do like 1 flower box, put in the seeds, let them germinate. After they germinate, 2 weeks later, put in the next row, so to speak. 2 weeks after they germinate, you put in the next row. Now, these were all spaced out. I mean, just look at the radishes. They crack too sometimes. If they get too much water too fast, they'll end up cracking. I didn't thin these out just to show you what happens. And they're not bad. They're decent size, but some of them are smaller. So even if you end up putting them too closely together, you're still gonna pop out radishes. And this is where I drop 2 in per hole. I usually thin to a single radish like I did here, but leaving both in, I experimented just to see what happens. You can get decent size radishes, but the whole trick to radishes is a loose soil. Give them some spacing. You saw what happens if you don't. You'll still get radishes. Don't overfeed them. This is a crop that would not want a bunch of fish emulsion. That's only going to be good for the leaves. Phosphorus and potassium help bulb development. And just keep them watered regularly. Keep the moisture going. It's going to be 91 today, so these have been growing in the heat. They're doing okay. Radishes are cool weather crops. You want to plant them, as soon as you can work the soil in the spring. It starts warming up, and again in the fall. When it starts getting to be 80, 90 degrees regularly, they tend to bolt really fast and flower. The bulbs will be kind of woody. They get extra hot and spicy. They're just not as good. So they are typically cool weather crops. Hope you enjoyed this video. It gives you some ideas of how you can grow radishes. You can grow them right in flower boxes, or just set up rows like this in your garden beds. And again, thanks for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com.